ranking, search. So anything that happens on the platform, ensuring that we are giving right insights to the business stakeholders for their conversion, is the thing that I kind of work upon. Before to Misho, I was working with this company called as LinkedIn. I'm sure everyone is super active on LinkedIn. So I was working with LinkedIn as a analytics manager, and there my role was to help some of the big companies in the world, some of the companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft of the world, to find out the best talent out there with the help of LinkedIn data. So we used to have like a very large amount of data that was available. So how do we leverage that particular data to ensure that the companies are able to hire the right talent, was the main role that I played there. And before to LinkedIn, I was working with Airbnb. So Airbnb is a pretty cool company to work with because one, they offer the remote role. So by any chance, if you're looking to work remotely, that is one good advantage we had there. And the second is like the data is really, really amazing. Like compared to any other places, the data is usually a challenge, but Airbnb has a structure in place where they have a data in a right shape, format, well cleaned. So it is much easier to get to the inside journey faster. So I was there with the product team and would help them in ensuring that we are giving a right product decision so that the customer experience is smoother. And I started off my career working with Walmart with this company called as Mu Sigma for about 4 years. And there, the main objective, main role was to ensure all the decisions related to supply chain, marketing, customer acquisition, customer retention. That is what we were trying to drive using data and data science projects. Okay, so this is all about me. I've been associated with Great Learning for about 3+ years now, delivered a lot of sessions. Something which I'm very, very passionate about is to share the knowledge that I'm acquiring. And here I'm today gonna explain you about the field of data science, the skills of the data science required, what are the components of AI you can kind of leverage and use. This is the main thing that I'll cover. Okay, some ground rules of the sessions. Just ensure that the session is on the listen mode only. So we cannot unmute and speak, but that doesn't stop us from asking the questions. So your chat box is the place where you can type in any of your questions that you have. And the recording, in case you want, will be shared to you after the end of the class on your registered email. So by chance, if you kind of drop off and you want to revisit the recording of today's class, you will be able to do that after the session is over. Okay, so with that, let's get started. The first point that I'll try to cover is what is the data science process. Even before that, I'll try to help you understand what is exactly data science. And then we'll try to kind of understand this whole flow. Okay, so just using an Excel sheet to explain you so that you are able to understand this better. All right, let's see this. So what happens is, like, if you look at any role in the world, be it marketing manager, be it supply chain manager, be it operations manager, be it a salesperson, any role in the world, if I were to kind of, create like a job description for any role in the world, I think the point A for that role would be problems, business problems. Okay. And the point B in that particular role, like there are business problems that the companies are facing. And the point B that he needs to do is to make decisions on top of it. Do you all agree with this statement? That any business role that you see around you, can I say that they have got some business problems and they are trying to solve that problem and make correct decisions? If they are able to make correct decisions, that leads to higher income, higher growth, higher impact. So if you look at any role around you, can I say this is what you have to do? Even in your current role, I'm sure this is what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. The small summary of your role is this: business problems to decision. Do you all agree? Please use the chat box. Let's make it interactive if possible. Correct? Yes. Now what happens? In order to solve this particular problem, in order to get to the solution of this problem, can we leverage data? What do you think? Do you think it is a good enough option that we leverage data to drive decision making in any organization? Do you think that is beneficial? Do you think that is much more better than relying on gut feeling or relying on a consultant or relying on your past experiences Do you think if the companies are relying on data to drive decision making, does it help them make better decisions? Does it help them make correct decisions? What do you think? Is it for decision making? Can we leverage data? Is it a good enough tool or method to use instead of just relying on your past experiences or your biases? Do you think the companies rely on data for driving decisions? What do you think? Good in one way? Yes, absolutely. Others, what do you think? Should the companies rely on data to drive decisions? Is it a good option? It is a good option, right? For example, even if you want to buy a certain product, for example, you want to buy a phone, you'll not go directly to the store and be like, give me the best phone. You will do your own analysis. So in similar way, if the companies needs to make decision, they rely heavily today, nowadays, to drive that particular decision making. So this is the gist of any role in the world that you see around you, wherever the decision making is involved. You kind of leverage data to solve that particular problem. Now, if I look at the steps involved here so that I'm able to help the company make better decision, the step one in the process, can I consider that it is to understand the problem much better, right? Without understanding the problem, do you think will you be able to suggest any solution? Not really, right? So can I say the step one, the most important step in the whole process is to have a very good clarity over what is the problem, what is the problem that we are trying to solve for? Agree, disagree, yes, no. What do you think? Be active in the chat so that I know that you're listening here. Do you think this is the most critical step? Without understanding the problem, do you think you will be able to give any suggestions? No. So even if you are working as a data scientist in any company, clarity of the issue is super, super important. Absolutely correct. So the step one is always to make sure that you have a very good understanding of the business problem. In order to get the understanding of the business problem, can I say you need to know the domain really well? So in case you are in domain know-how should be really well. For example, if you're in banking, can I say you should know what are the rules and regulations of the central bank? If you're in banking, can I say you should know what is doable and what is not doable in which place where you can create the products or deploy the products, right? So you need to work under a certain framework. So for that reason, I'm saying like whenever you're working in for any particular problem, knowing that particular domain is super important. If you're working for marketing, you should understand marketing. If you're working for supply chain, you should have a very good clarity about the supply chain. So the first step in the whole process is the most critical one, the most important one. It is to make sure that you have a very good understanding of the problem. Now what happens? Once you have got the clarity about the problem, the step two in the process, can I say it is to map the problem to the relevant data, isn't it? The step two in the process now, once you have got the clarity of the problem, you need to figure out what data points should I be collecting so that I'm able to solve this particular problem. So we try to map the problem to the relevant data. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say Walmart has 4,000 stores and all the stores are doing well, but one store is having an issue. One store is having the sales drop, significant sales drop. Okay, this is a problem statement that we have. Now, in order to solve this problem, in order to understand where this problem is coming from, can I say that you will probably look into the first data that you will probably think about is the competition data, isn't it? Because if everything is working fine for the 4,000 store, everything is working fine, only the issue is in one store. Probably a new store got opened up close by and that is causing a drop. Maybe the customer getting split because of that. So this is the first data point that you will probably try to investigate. The second thing that you will try to do is, if it is not a competition, if you prove that competition is not there, the second important data point that you will probably look into this situation is to figure out whether quality is an issue. Right now, this is an offline store, and because there is an offline store, the only best way to measure quality is through, can I use this metric of return rate and compare it with all the other 4,000 stores? If quality is an issue, can I say the return rate should be higher? Because if you don't like the product, what do? You probably return it, right? So can I say if I want to identify whether the problem is coming because of the quality of the products being sold in that particular store, Is this a good metric? Is it a good data to look into? The return rate in that particular store and compare it with the other stores? Agree? Yes? No? What do you think? Is it a good enough data point to kind of look into this? Absolutely yes. So this is what I'm saying. The step two, once you have understood the problem, you try to look at the data that can help you solve the problem. Now what happens in the real world scenario, in the real world scenario, this data that we have, is it in the right shape, format, values? Is it a clean data? For example, you will find that the gender of the customer is not available. Maybe you'll find that the address of the customer is not very clear. Maybe you'll find that the PIN code that he has given is exceeding the numbers. The phone number that he has given is not correct. So can I say that the data that we usually get all the times it is not very clean? Correct. So once you have analyzed, okay, I want to look at the return rate for different variables, for different genders, occupation, income, etc. Even before I go to the analysis part, can I say that I'll have to clean the data? Correct, because every time you go to any webinar, clean means, for example, the values are missing. You input the missing values. For example, a gender of a customer is missing, so you try to figure out what could be the gender, right? Maybe he has not given the ratings for the product, so you try to assume what could be the rating. So this is the cleaning. Missing information treatment is nothing but your cleaning part. Now, in the practical world, everyone will say that data is a new oil. From my experience, I will always say that the data is a crude oil, right? It is not the well finished oil which you can start using. It is a crude oil. So in this case, what you need to do is once you identify the data point that you need to analyze, the step three in the process is to clean the data. Are you with me till here? Understand the business problem, figure out the data required to solve that problem, make sure that the data is in the right shape, format, and have the correct values. All okay till here? Any questions? Everyone, please intervene anytime you want to ask anything. Okay. So the step three, it is to make sure that your data is clean. Now, what do you do? The step four that you do here is the step four in the process, it is to analyze the data, analyze the data. Okay. It is to analyze the data to get the insights. Okay. The step four in the process is to analyze your data, whatever data that you have selected, and get the insights. Now, what happens? For example, um, just let me show you. For example, yeah. Mm. For example, let's say you have a data like this. You have the order ID of the customer. This is sample data. I'm just giving an example. You have a gender and you have the age category, which is 20 to 25, 30 to 35, like this. And you have the sales variable. Now, if you analyze this particular data, what is the sales coming for each gender? For M, the sales is 100 plus 600. It is 700. And for female, it is also 700, 600 plus 100. So can I draw an insight here that gender is having no impact on the sales? Can I call that out? If you look at the aggregated values after aggregation, male 700, female 700. So can I draw an insight that the gender is having no or minimal impact on the sales value? The gender as a variable is not having any significant impact. Agree with this particular statement? What do you think? Yes, no? I'm saying if I look at this data, the sample data, and I figure out that the sales is 700, 700. So I'm going to infer, this is my insight. The insight is that gender has no impact on the sales. So if I'm building any marketing campaign, does it need to be very gender specific? If I'm building any marketing materials, do I need to target a certain gender? No, not really, because the sales is not impacted by gender. So you do not need to do that. But if you observe very carefully, is each category an influencing factor for sales? So for 30 to 35, this number comes out to be around 1200. And for the other one, this comes out to be for 20 to 25. For 20 to 25, this comes out to be only 200. So if I'm making any marketing campaign, the insight that I've got is there is a clear impact of sales because of the age category. So if I'm creating any marketing campaigns, should I ask the business owners to target only the ones, or the campaign should be directed towards 30 to 35 as a age group? Because age category has an impact on sales, can I infer that 30 to 35 is the group that we should be targeting? Right? So this particular step is nothing but once you have got the data, once you have got the information that you want to kind of analyze, that is nothing but your step 4, which is to have a clear understanding of your data. Okay, step 1, understand the problem. Step 2, map the problem to the data. Step 3, clean the data. Step 4, analyze the data. And then finally, the step 5 that comes into picture is convert your data, convert the data to an equation, right? Because we have a data, we need to convert this into an equation because we have the numbers. The numbers are usually a representation of what's going on. You try to model it into an equation, and that equation is something that will help you a lot in your decision making. Let's take a very simple example. Say you have a data about the temperature, you're selling some ice creams, and you have the data of the temperature and the sales of the unit. So now what you observe, when the temperature is 10, the sales is 100. When the temperature is 20, the sales is 200. When the temperature is 30, the sales is 300. When the temperature is 40, the sales is 400. Now, can you predict what will be the value at 45 degrees Celsius? Any guesses? If this pattern holds true, if this pattern is gonna be following the same pattern, what is the expected sales at 45 degrees Celsius? It will be 450. Now, how did you get this number of 450? You got this number of 450 because did you convert this particular data into y is equal to 10x? If you observe very carefully, what you're doing is you're taking this data and converting it into an equation of y is equal to 10x, right? Just give me 1 second. So sorry, I actually had a delivery here. Can you hear me? Okay. Are you all here? Um, just a quick check. Okay. So I'm saying, what do we do in this particular step? We try to convert this data into an equation. Can I consider this equation? Can I call this equation as the model that we have created? What is modeling? Modeling is nothing but you have a data and you convert it into an equation. So the whole idea is whatever is happening real time with your customers and their purchases, you try to create one equation. And once you get that equation, can you play around and do all the scenario planning? For example, if I want to know what will be the sales at 30 degrees Celsius, I can easily predict that. Okay, so in the data science world, whenever you convert the data into an equation, that particular step is called as modeling, right? We need to create different equations. This is a very simple example. That's why we were able to create this equation. The data is not that simple, so we have complex equation. So the whole idea that we try to do is whatever is happening real time with our data set, we try to convert it into an equation. And once we get the equation, we can do all sort of things, right? So the step 5 in the process is to convert your data into an equation, which is nothing but the model. Once you create the model, you will not directly deploy it. You will not directly start using it. You will do the step 6, which is to kind of test the model, train and test the model. You will try to figure out whether the equation that you have created, is it really giving me the correct values or not? In this case, you will try to monitor for a few days whether the prediction that we are making, is it matching with the actuals or not? So that particular step is nothing but train the model or train the equation so that we are not making any wrong mistakes while deploying it. And that is where the step 6 comes into the picture. And once you have this model, can I say that the companies will be able to make much more strategic decision because they can preempt what the customer will be doing, and based on that, can we make decisions around inventory planning, cash flow planning? If I know that the sales will be 45 at 45 degrees Celsius, it will be 450 units. Will it help me in making all that decisions? Will it help me plan my inventory better? Will it help me plan my cash flows better? Isn't it? If I know if the model is trying to give me for every day what is the expected sales, will that help the companies make more strategic decisions? Do you agree with this? Isn't it? So this whole process, if I were to revise, wherein we understand the business problem, map the problem to the relevant data, ensure that it is clean and ready to use, do certain analysis to understand the data, apply the statistical equation on that particular data, train the model in order to drive decision making. This is all about your data science. Are you getting the whole picture? Get the clear understanding of the business problem, get the data that is required to solve that problem, analyze the data, clean the data, understand the data, apply the equation on top of it, train the model, understand the model is good. Once the model is good to deploy, in output of that model will be used for decision making. This whole scenario that I just explained is my data science. Understood? Any doubts on what is data science? This is data science. What does a data scientist does? He does the same thing. What is data science? It is the art of understanding the business problem, applying the data, creating the equation, and then solving it in order to drive the decision making. That is data science. So if you understand from the process, what are the skill set required? The skill set required is a very good understanding of the domain knowledge. The skill set required is how do you map your data to the business problem? Do you have in you to kind of understand what your data is trying to tell you? And then the most important part is your statistical part, mathematical part, wherein you look at the data and figure out what is the best equation that can be added in here. And then training and testing. These are the some important skills that you need to know. Okay, so this is what this diagram also tells you. So here we have a business problem to solve for. We need to ensure that we are kind of making the right decision. So in order to do so, what we do, we do an exploratory data analysis. Before we do that, we kind of ensure that the data is right, is clean. We ensure that we have collected all the right data, and then we build a model. We check whether the model is working fine or not, and then we finally deploy the model. So this whole process is my data science process. So if you look at the skill set, like I said in here, we need to understand the statistics behind a lot, right? Because it's numbers, and from numbers we are deriving equation. So the most critical skill set that is required here is to have a good understanding about the application of statistics. We don't have to prove the theorem. We don't have to prove LHS equal to RHS, but we need to know in certain situations, what do we need to kind of apply for. The second important thing is, which I started my discussion with, without the right business acumen, without the knowing of the business problem that you're trying to solve for, you may not know what data to select, and you may probably end up creating the model which is not helping the companies make right decision. So having that clear understanding of the business problem becomes an extremely important step in here. And the third and the last part, which is in order to execute all of this, in order to orchestrate all of this, is it possible to do it on a sheet of a pen and a paper? Can you create a model? Can you make an equation on a large billions of records on a sheet of pen and paper? Can you do it manually? Any guesses? No, right? Like it is practically impossible to do all of these steps manually. So what do we need to do? We need to take the help of the technology. So for example, The data is stored in a database. I need to use SQL. For analyzing, I use Python. For building mathematical models, I probably use R. So I have to use different technologies in different places so that I'm not doing it manually. I'm doing it through a machine, which can help me do the things faster. And that is the key skills that is required in data science. So it's a combination of analytical skills, your data understanding. It is a combination of your mathematical skills. It is a combination of your business skills, and it is the combination of technical skills. So that's why, he's like an all-rounder who knows business, who knows data, who knows the models, he knows the technology, and he's helping the companies make decision. And that's why, because the expectations and the skills required here are so diverse, it is one of the best jobs that are out there in the market, which is having a very high demand, because it involves not simple problem solving, it involves like complexity. And that's the reason why, if you are exploring any career in this domain, it is one of the best domains to kind of look into. Okay, so the thing is, in the world of data, there are like different people doing different kind of a role, and where does data science sits? So all your backend infrastructure handling, like how do you get the data? How is the data stored in the databases? How the data should be captured? What should be the sources of the data? What should be the column names of the data? All that part, wherein the idea is to prepare your data, idea is to have your data at a particular location. That is the role of a data engineer. Data engineer is the one who's kind of doing this. And for certain analysis, for example, I want to quickly know what is the sales in the last few weeks. I want to do any historical data analysis. Do you really need to build models in that case? Let's say the business wants to know. Let's say the business wants to know what is the trend of the sales in the last few months. Right? We don't need to build models in that case. Can I say a simple visualization can help there? Yes. So anytime we are not building the models and you're just trying to answer any business questions using data, that becomes the role of a business analyst. Data scientist is specifically focused on that one critical part that I explained, which is to create the models. Model means converting your data into an equation so that it can be used for continuous decision making as we go along. Okay, so this is the roles and responsibilities of the data scientist. So he needs to know maths, he needs to know how to build models, and he of course needs to automate it because you will be using that information on a regular basis. Okay, and if you look at the overview, in the world of AI, where does the data science kind of actually sit? Okay, so let me explain this diagram. Where is data science sitting in the world of AI? Uh, how is AI connected to data science, and what is the correlation between the two? Let's try to understand this as well. Say, if I take the same example, okay, if I take the same example, now what happens is somebody opened a new store. Okay, somebody opened a new store. And in this store, what happened was somebody looked at your success, like you're making a lot of sales. So you opened a new store. And now what happens is at 30, you are getting the sales as 250. At 25, the sales is coming as 200. At 20, the sales is coming as 150. Do you think our equation that we earlier created, which is y is equal to 10x, is it the right equation to predict the next value? Do you think with the new information that you are seeing, is this equation the most relevant equation? No, right? Now, if you see this, what I want to do is, as the new data comes in, as the new information comes in, as the new data comes in, I want my model to update itself. I want this equation to change itself because I cannot keep on changing as a manual process. I cannot keep on doing every single time that I'm looking at the data and telling what is the best equation. I want machine to take up this responsibility. And if he sees this kind of a data, he should automatically update the equation to y is equal to 10x minus 50. Isn't that the most relevant equation now for this information that we are getting? Isn't it? Now, if somebody asks what could be the Google is telling that the temperature is 35, what is the expected sales? I'm going to say it will be 10 into 35, 350 minus 50, and the answer that it will provide me is 300. Right? Now, this particular process where this equation gets updated on its own, the equation kind of gets updated on its own, that particular process is called as, any guesses? Where the machine is looking at the data and updating itself. this field where this equation is not static but it is dynamic with the new information that it is getting, this whole process is called as, just a guess, very popular word nowadays. Anyone? It is called as your machine learning. This is machine learning. So what is machine learning? In machine learning, this equation which you created by doing all the analysis is not dynamic. It is more active. It is getting updated with every new information that it is getting. That is nothing but your machine learning. So for example, on YouTube, if you watch videos related to news and suddenly you start watching videos related to say a sports, does it automatically update your feed? On Amazon, you were purchasing all the items related to grocery. Now you start purchasing items related to say furniture. Does it update your feed automatically? So can I say in that case, the machine is learning from the new information that you're providing, updating that equation and giving you the output. And that is why this is called as machine learning. In order to build a machine learning algorithm, can I say we need to reach at this step of y is equal to 10x? Without giving him that baseline to update, do you think it will automatically update? Any guesses? No, right? Like it is not possible. The machine is not that smart enough that it will start giving you the equation from this from the first point itself. You have to come to this equation. You need to build that equation by knowing what data, what problem that you're trying to solve for. Then it starts to get updated itself. That is your machine learning. Is the difference making sense between how data science and machine learning is created? Just imagine that the equation that we created from the data science model, we are making it automated to get updated. That becomes machine learning. Is that clear? So without knowing data science, you cannot go to machine learning. So it is very, very important that you learn data science and then on top of it, you build a machine learning algorithm. Okay, sounds good. Very good. Now, if I say that, you know what, the last part of the process, which is my decision making, usually what happens nowadays, that whatever is the output on top of it, any business owner will make a decision. What if I automate that decision making process? What if I say that if the sales that you are seeing on that particular day is less than y is equal to 10x, if I'm observing the sales on that particular day or for the temperature of 40 is less than 400, give 10% discount. If I see this, if the sales is less than y is equal to 10x, then give 10% discount, 10% discount. Isn't this the machine making a decision on its own? In this case, don't you think so? If I give an algorithm, if I build an algorithm in which I tell him what to do on a certain kind of situation, and he makes the decision on its own, in this case, can I say now the machine is also making a decision, automatically giving the discounts? Correct? Now, this particular process where the machine is also making a decision, any guesses it is called as? Very popular word, the buzzword of 2025, and of course, of this next decade. If the machine makes the decision on its own, it is called as it is called as AI. Yes, it is called as AI, artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is artificial intelligence. It looks at the data, updates itself, and based on certain rules and guidelines, makes a decision. That is nothing but your AI. In order to build an AI model, the step zero, step one, is always to follow this whole process. So in case you want to get into AI and building AI models for any company, the start is always building the data science model, updating it with the new information that becomes machine learning, giving the machine learning model an option to make decision. That is your AI. For example, on Uber, if you try to book a cab and you enter your location, starting point and destination, who's telling you the price? Who's making a decision of the price? Machine or a human? Somebody sitting in Uber headquarter, or do you think machine itself is making that decision? No, human is not. Is it practically possible for every ride to know what should be the price by a human? No, it is machine who's making that decision, and that is my AI. Okay, so do remember this. Do remember this particular part wherein your AI part, artificial intelligence, actually comes from data science itself. The equation that you create, on top of it, you enable a decision-making process on its own. That is where the AI comes into picture. Okay, now comes the main part, right? I'm sure you would have all heard about Gen AI as a technique which is kind of overpowering the world, chat GPTs of the world, Geminis of the world, Claude of the world. So what is now happening is in this whole process, instead of me doing it alone, just imagine that I have an intern who can take care of some of the tasks that I have. For example, if I were to write the code, I don't want to spend like 5 hours writing the code. I want an assistant who can help me write that code. That is my Gen AI tool. I want to clean the data. The data is so messy that I'll have to spend a lot of time in doing this boring task. I don't want to do it on its own. I'll just give him that need to clean the data. From the past experience that he has learned, he will try to clean the data for me. Who's able to do it? This AI model is able to do it. This Gen AI model is able to do it. So just imagine that we are in that world wherein we are not Superman, we are Iron Man. This is the analogy that I always give, that, don't consider AI as your, somebody who's going to threaten you. It is somebody who's going to help you out. So this AI, in this whole process that we learn, it takes care of some of the tasks which are very, very repetitive, which are very, very, does not require critical thinking, does not require you to do much. They are more execution in nature. And that is where this Gen AI comes into picture. So for example, if you want to do some data visualization, so you don't need to write the whole code. You just tell me, give me a bar chart, he'll give you the bar chart. If you want to do certain exploratory data analysis and want to ask him, hey, is temperature correlated with the sales? So he will do that coding for you and give you the output. So all that mundane tasks that we would be doing in this whole process is now kind of getting helped by the AI, and that is increasing our throughput, and it is making sure that we are able to reach to the solution much faster. Okay, so we need to learn data science, plus we need to leverage all these AI tools so that we can work on our skill set much faster and help the companies make better decisions. Okay, some of the new trends I would definitely suggest you after the class is over. Try to download this anti-gravity tool. It's an IDE launched by Google. This tool does not only just create the code, it also executes the code. So for example, if you want to automate a certain task in your day-to-day activity, let's say you want to order flowers for somebody, say every Sunday. So what you can do is you can give all the step, like open this website, enter this credential, these are the payment details, click on buy now. If the product is available, pick the product one, otherwise pick the product two, otherwise pick the product three. You can automate all of this through this particular ID, and it will do the task for you. So in similar way, in the data science world, if I want to, every time before the model runs, I want to do certain checks. Are the values correct? Are the information correct? Is the column name correct? Is the data that I'm getting is correct? I can create this agent. It will see whether it is correct or not. And if it is not, it will try to correct itself. Otherwise, it will alert the person that, hey, you know what, there is some issue with the data. We need to fix it. So this is a pretty new tool, Google Anti-Gravity. After the class is over, try to download it. It's pretty fun. You will enjoy like how you can create your, you can do certain like agents thing, and that will help you kind of do your work faster. Okay, and about the trend, see, as the number of data points grow, I'm sure you will be observing it around you. Nowadays, can I say all the devices that we are using, can I consider that they are generating a massive amount of data? Your watch, which was showing you time, nowadays it is capturing all the human elements of their blood group and everything, blood pressure and everything, right? Your TV, which was just normally used for watching TV, now has become a smart TV, is capturing a lot of data. Your car, which was first emitting more emission, is now emitting more data. The electric cars are having every information about what your car is doing. So can I say there is a huge amount of data which is getting captured and stored? And because there is a huge amount of data getting captured and stored, there is a need of people who can build models on top of it and make sure that it is benefiting the companies to drive, say, if it is customer experience, drive better customer experience. If it is to drive sales, it can drive sales. So all of that is possible with this huge amount of data that is available. And trust me, like this graph, if you see here, it is going, it is not even a straight line. Can I consider this line to be an exponential line? If you look at this curve, it's not a straight line curve, it's an exponential curve. Till the point the new amount of data keeps on getting increased and added, there's a need for professionals who can work on this data, help the companies make better decision. And that is the reason why there is a huge amount of demand for this kind of a roles in the market. Okay, similarly, if you look at the number of job roles open, especially around India, you will find that there is about 300% increase expected between 2022 to 2030. And the reason is very simple. More data, more people, more people, more jobs. Okay, and there are different career paths that you can take. For example, you can start with a data scientist. If you want to go towards more towards ML, you can build an ML engineer career. If you want to go towards AI, you can become an AI engineer. If you don't want to go towards modeling part, but still want to be in the place where data is helping the companies, you can become a business analyst, data analyst. You can become a manager of the analytics. You can become the consultant of the analyst. If you enjoy the maths part more, the one where we saw that equation conversion more, then you can also aim for becoming a statistician. So this role gives you a variety of the flavors that you can explore, because the skill set is so in demand that you can explore any of this role depending upon what do you like to kind of do in your career. Okay, so the same thing, 0 to 2 years, you kind of start as a business analyst, data analyst, try to build junior data analyst, try to help the companies make certain small decisions. After that, you become a data scientist, machine learning engineer, and kind of works on a larger amount of data and complex problems. After that, you become a senior data scientist after 5 to 10 years and go towards ML and AI. And finally, if you have around 10 years of experience, you get into data science role, chief data officer, AI ML consultant that helps companies define the data strategy. So it's a very lucrative career, very high growing, very high paying, very impactful career. So in case you are thinking about leveraging this, data science is definitely a career for all of you. So this is what I had to cover. I hope you have got the gist that I wanted to tell you about what is data science, what is machine learning, what is AI, what are the steps in data science, what are the skill set required in data science, and what do you achieve from learning this. So this is the main thing that I wanted to cover. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll have my other panelist Vikash to kind of take you over on how do you actually learn everything that we just discussed. Vikash, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Saurabh. You're presenting your screen, or can I present my
Yeah,
screen?
yes,
Anything?
please present it.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Saurabh, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Not- can't- Okay. Yes. So, hey guys. So now Saurabh has given you the insights about how you can, leverage data science and generative AI in your day-to-day life. Now I will be giving you the, mode of where to start learning data science, or where to start getting started in your AI or generative AI career. So from Great Learning, right, we are providing a course called postgraduate program in data science with generative AI. So before going into the program, I will give a brief about what Great Learning does. So we are an India's leading edtech platform, right? We are in partnership with world's leading universities like University of Texas at Austin, Great Lakes Executive Learning, Northwestern School of Professional Studies, MIT, Deakin University, John Hopkins, IIT Bombay, Walsh College, etc. So we are in partnership with such great universities, right? And Great Learning is home to around 18,000 plus career transition, 4,000 plus hiring partners, and we have total of 400 million hours of learning delivered, and we also have 7,600 plus gurus working now with Great Learning, right? And so what is new in this program? So as we mentioned that generative AI is currently booming up in the field of AI, right? So we wanted to integrate generative AI based modules into this program. So this program has advanced modules on ChatGPT and GenAI, where you will discover cutting edge ChatGPT and generative AI modules to revolutionize data science. Also to learn to streamline workflows, extract insights, and tackle complex business problems. So apart from this, you also have modules on AI and business analytics, where you'll explore a curriculum that combines data science and AI. So you will also gain insights into business analytics and consulting while learning to solve problems using business frameworks. So this program has 22 plus tools. You will have 11 plus hands-on projects and also 60 plus case studies, right? And you will also have access to 500 plus hours of learning content and work work on real world projects and case studies as well, right? And moving on, so this is a 12-month program, and this is a completely online program, and the classes are only on weekends. This is specifically designed for people who are working, and people who wants to learn while working without interfering with their usual work, right? And this is in integration with Great Lakes and University of Texas at Austin. This is ranked number one program for 5 consecutive years, right? And this university is ranked number three in business analytics, right? And also, you will have 600 plus hours of online content. You will have personalized mentorship sessions. You will have dedicated career support. And as I mentioned, you will learn close to 22 plus tools and languages, right? And you will also have a dual certification upon completion of this program from the Great Lakes and University of Texas at Austin. Okay. And this is the brief of of the curriculum, where you will learn initially the Python for data science. You will learn inferential statistics, predictive modeling, machine learning, and in that you will learn unsupervised learning. You will have an introduction to generative AI, introduction to SQL, neural networks, and computer vision. Right. So this is the brief about the curriculum that you will be learning. And post completion, you will also have career assistance like resume preparations, LinkedIn optimization, etc. And these are all some of the tools that you will get your hands on. Python, Pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, Matplotlib. So these are some of the trending and very widely used, libraries and tools and languages. And you will have hands-on on all of these tools and languages, right? And apart from this, you will also have capstone projects, hackathon, case study based projects, right? All these things you will get in this particular program. So now what will I do is I will share a Google form, right? I know you will have a lot of queries regarding the program. Now you will want to know what is the fee of the particular program. You will want to know the detailed about the curriculum section. You want to know whether this program is the right program for you or not, right? So all these queries will be answered by our learning consultants. So I'm sending you a feedback form right now. Right? This is the session feedback form, and also whatever queries you have related to the course, you can put it in this so that our learning consultants will get in touch with you and they will clear all your queries regarding the course. Right? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Saurabh. Over to you.
Um, Okay, great. I think if you have any questions, I can answer them. Age limit is not an issue. Trust me, like everyone in the world is pivoting towards data science. So, right from the people who are graduating till the people who are into 50s and 60s, they're all trying to learn because it's a non-negotiable skill that will be required in the next decade. So definitely do not worry about the age limit. You should learn because it's a non-negotiable skills in the coming future. Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Would love to answer. Otherwise, we can stop in here. Are we good?
Yeah.
Thanks, Vikash.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Saurabh. Thank you so much for joining. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Feel
Yeah.
free to connect in case you want. Next steps, you have to go to that link which has been shared. Fill that form. Learning consultant will reach out to you and take it up from there. Okay. And in case you want to connect with me, my LinkedIn link is available in the chat box. Okay, so Vikas had shared a link. Please click on that Google form, fill it up. A learning consultant will definitely reach out to you very soon. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. And guys, everyone, please do fill the form. I will just share it one more time with you.
Is there
Right?
any qualification required? Not really, but say I would say like you should be comfortable with numbers. Like the only thing that I expect from my learners is that they are comfortable with numbers and all. I think that is the only prerequisite. Whatever experience that you have got, it definitely helps in knowing how to solve a particular problem. So yeah, as far as I know, I'm sure Vikas, you can add, there's no such specific
Yes,
qualification required.
yes. So you just have to have a 50% aggregate in your undergraduate. So I think that everyone will definitely have.
And there's no
Yes.
restriction on what kind of a degree it is, right?
No, no. So this program is basically for everyone. It covers all basics, concepts, and also advanced concepts. So this will be suitable for everyone.
Sounds good.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, Saurabh. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I will be ending the webinar now. Thank you so much. And also, guys, if you have any more queries, you can just fill out the form. You can copy the a link and you can keep it. You can fill the form so that our learning consultant will reach out to you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Saurabh.